On the 10th day of the zombie virus outbreak, I was truly devoured completely by that crazy old woman, my scumbag husband, and his beloved mistress. In order to keep my flesh fresh, they actually kept me lingering on the verge of death, cutting a piece of meat from my body every day. They started from my calf, then moved to my thigh, and then to my arm, and they even didn't spare my buttocks. While eating my flesh, they cursed that my meat was sour and stinky, and they even gave me an extremely offensive name, calling me a human pig. However, after I was reborn, I stocked up on supplies well in advance, and then quietly watched them kill each other. This time, I want to see who will be the next human pig. Bang! A huge explosion resounded through the sky, and I suddenly sat up in bed. In bed, I was astonished to find that I was intact. Didn't the zombie virus break out before? When supplies were scarce, that crazy old woman, my scumbag husband, and his beloved mistress ate me until only my bones were left. I turned over and got out of bed, then quickly walked to the window and looked outside. It turned out that there had been a violent collision between two cars. Could it be that I had gone back to the time before the disaster broke out? I remembered clearly that the owner of the black car was wearing white clothes, and the owner of the white car was wearing red clothes. As soon as the two of them got out of the cars, they started fighting. Sure enough, a moment later, two figures, one in red and one in white, appeared downstairs and were grappling with each other. I was certain that I had really been reborn. I quickly picked up my phone and checked the date. There were actually 3 days left before the zombie virus outbreak. In these 3 days, I must race against time. I want to survive, and more importantly, I want to take revenge. Zhang Qi was standing by the window in the living room watching the commotion. When he saw that I was about to go out, he asked, "It's the weekend today. Where are you going?" "My neck hurts a bit, and I want to go for a massage," I said casually. Zhang Qi's eyes flickered, just like the will-o'-the-wisps in the dark night. "Are you going by car?" "Yes, by car," I replied. Looking at his appearance, I only felt disgusted and sensed danger in my heart. In the past, when I saw his handsome face and gentle smile, I would only blush and my heart would race, thinking that I was extremely happy. But now, I only feel deep loathing for him. Of course, I wasn't really going for a massage. I was going to collect the rent. I had long noticed that Zhang Qi had been monitoring my asset situation. But since I thought we were husband and wife, I didn't pay much attention to it. Now I need to stock up on a lot of supplies, and I need a large amount of money. If I use the money in the bank card, he will definitely find out. I can't let him notice anything strange about me. The houses and shops under my name collect rent once every 5 years, and the rent collection day is just around these days. Even if I can only collect half of the rent, it will be enough for me to build a safe house and stock up on sufficient supplies. After getting out of the elevator, my phone signal improved a bit. At this time, Zhang Qi's voice came from the phone. Ran, she's gone out for a massage. According to her habit, she won't be back for the whole day today. Would you like to come to my place? What do you mean by my place? That's clearly my house. You're just a man who can't even afford the down payment, and lives off a woman. I gritted my teeth in hatred as I got into the car, listening to the sounds on the other end of the phone, and thinking secretly. I hid my second phone in the wardrobe in the bedroom, so that I could monitor Zhang Qi's every move. But I always felt very uneasy, constantly thinking of the strange smile on Zhang Qi's face before I went out. I sat in the car, editing messages while listening to what was going on with Zhang Qi. Ran, I'm sorry. When I get the money, whether it's a beauty card or a massage card, I'll get you whatever card you want, okay? Su Xiao, that bitch, her parents left her a lot of money. She doesn't have many relatives. Once she's dead, all her property will be mine. When the hatred reached its peak, it instead turned into indifference and calmness. I don't love her at all. I married her just for her money. I only want to marry you. You're like a princess, and I want to give you the best material life. I've been in love with you since I was 16. In these 10 years, my heart has never changed. Cui Ran came from a poor family, but she was extremely beautiful. There had always been no shortage of rich second-generation boyfriends around her. But now, she couldn't even afford a beauty card? I finished editing the message and sent it to the tenant group. Pay the rent with banknotes within 3 days, and you can be exempted from 1% of the rent for 5 years. As soon as the message was sent, the group erupted in chaos. 1%. I'll go and withdraw the money right now. Rich lady, I'm hungry. Give me food. Get lost, you guy upstairs. The rich lady is mine. I've already trained my 8-pack abs. When will the rich lady sister come to support me? I was amused by the messages in the group. Just as I was about to start the car, I suddenly heard Zhang Qi say, "Not only will her inheritance be mine, but I'm also the beneficiary of her insurance." Ran, I bought her a personal accident insurance on the day we met again. I tampered with the brake belt of her car. I guess in just a few days, she'll be on her way to the afterlife when she drives the car. Ha 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 ha. I was shocked and immediately turned off the engine. Thinking of Zhang Qi's strange smile again, I felt all the hairs on my body stand on end, and a chill welled up from the bottom of my heart. Sure enough, when love is dead, a woman becomes incredibly perceptive. In the phone, there was Zhang Qi's arrogant laughter. Ha 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 ha. The timeline is so long that the police won't find out. Ran. There will be hundreds of millions waiting for us to spend then. Ran. I love you, I love you. It turned out that even without the end of the world, I would still die at the hands of that despicable couple, Zhang Qi and Cui Ran. I held back the urge to rush back and kill Zhang Qi, hailed a taxi, first went to buy a suitcase, and then went to collect the rent. These tenants of mine were really worry-free. After collecting the rent from each household, I would hint to them to stock up more on food and drinks. When I had collected half of the rent, I remembered that I had a large flat that had been idle all the time, and perhaps it could be used as a safe house. It was a large flat on the 7th floor, which was also the top floor, with a total area of 300 square meters, enough for me to place my supplies. Although this building was not tall compared to those buildings with dozens of floors, it was already the tallest building in the vicinity. Moreover, it was not connected to other buildings. The building structure was solid, the foundation was firm, the elevator served only one household per floor, and the fire escape door was fireproof and bulletproof, with a very high safety factor. Later, I would buy a big lock and lock the fire escape well, and the first barrier would be set up. I stopped collecting the rent, and went to the decoration company. When Cui Ran entered my house, I was directing the decoration workers to reinforce the anti-theft net, and at the same time replace the glass with one-way bulletproof glass. Oh, right, also replace the door with the thickest, heaviest, and sturdiest one, the kind that even a Gatling gun can't penetrate. The decoration worker wiped the sweat off his face. Young lady, are you building a prison? I put on a pitiful look. I'm going to divorce my husband, and I'm afraid he'll come to take revenge on me. There are so many news about husbands killing their wives nowadays. I'm really terrified. Sir, I'll give you more money. Please finish the work for me as soon as possible. Otherwise, I really won't have anywhere to go. As soon as the decoration worker heard this, he immediately felt a great sense of responsibility. I'll install the glass for you today, and I'll install the door for you tomorrow morning. Thank you, sir. I paid the deposit. After thinking it over, I still said, Sir, the epidemic keeps recurring. You'd better stock up more on food and drinks. The decoration worker readily agreed. I didn't know if he really took it to heart or not, and this was all I could do. When Zhang Qi was hugging and kissing Cui Ran, I rented a van and went to order solar panels. At that time, the solar panels and the rainwater collection tank would all be installed on the rooftop. I had to buy another lock to lock the rooftop door, to prevent anyone from damaging them. When Zhang Qi and Cui Ran were undressing each other, I bought a large quantity of nutrient soil, vegetable seeds, and planting boxes. When the rhythmic clapping sounds rang out, I bought 3 large refrigerators, 10 induction cookers, 10 electric kettles, and also had 5 gas cylinders delivered. If it weren't for the regulation that no more than 5 gas cylinders could be placed in one household, and I was also afraid of being blown to death, I really would have bought 20. Ah, Zhang Qi brother, dear brother, you're so amazing. I gave up going to the supermarket, and directly called the manufacturer. Amidst Cui Ran's gasps, I started placing orders. Rice, flour, noodles, cooking oil, seasonings, barreled water, meat cans, fruit cans, compressed biscuits, canned milk powder, nuts, bread, instant noodles, dumplings, tangyuan, sweet glutinous rice balls, wontons, zongzi, sticky rice dumplings, all bought by the dozens of boxes. Of course, there was also my favorite hot pot base. I'm going to eat hot pot every day, while Zhang Qi and the others won't even be able to get their hands on the hot pot base. As I was buying, I was calculating, not the price but the load-bearing capacity. If I wasn't afraid of living on a low floor, and having to hear the terrifying sounds of zombies every day, I really wanted to rent a huge warehouse, and just stuff it full without having to consider the load-bearing capacity. The basic living supplies had been purchased, and the half box of money I had was also used up. Dragging the empty suitcase, my steps became much lighter. When I was helping the delivery man move the goods, I was questioned by the security guard. This is a building. Why are you buying so much rice, flour, cooking oil, and other supplies? I have hoarding disorder. I'll start shaking if there aren't enough things at home. You should also stock up some for unexpected needs. Obviously, the security guard didn't take my words seriously. He just thought that if a modern person didn't have some psychological problems, he didn't seem to be a real modern person. By the way, you live on the 7th floor of Building 3, right? My heart skipped a beat. Instinctively, I didn't want to tell the security guard my real information. But if I didn't say it, it would still be found out, and lying would bring more trouble. I nodded and went upstairs with a feeling of unease. When it was dark, the windows had already been installed. The property management didn't allow the private installation of solar panels, so I asked the boss to come and install them on the day before the apocalypse. I must fill the 150 square meter rooftop completely. 4. When I opened the door, a look of disappointment flashed in Zhang Qi's eyes. Cui Ran had already left. I greeted Zhang Qi as if nothing had happened, and went into the bathroom to take a shower. I didn't plan to sleep in the bedroom at night. After listening to those two people making noises for the whole afternoon, I felt nauseous just looking at that bed. But I still went into the room once, and hid a pinhole camera in a concealed place. I also placed cameras in the living room, the toilet, the kitchen, the second bedroom, and the balcony. The end of the world will be boring, and I can only kill time with these. It's a pity that these cameras rely on the internet, and the internet will be cut off 7 days after the zombie outbreak. 7 days are enough for them to fight each other several times. I have work tonight, so I'll sleep in the second bedroom to avoid disturbing your rest. He actually let out a sigh of relief. Could it be that he was afraid that I would force myself on him? Don't disgust me. He's such a dirty man. I thought again that Cui Ran couldn't even afford a beauty card, so I made a call and asked someone to investigate Cui Ran. After Zhang Qi fell asleep, I secretly got up and checked the food storage situation at home. The rice and flour were almost gone. In the refrigerator, there was only half a caddy of the old-fashioned egg cakes I bought, and 2 packs of rice noodles. Sure enough, if I didn't buy it, Zhang Qi wouldn't buy even a single grain of rice. Fortunately, Zhang Qi was lazy and stingy, so I didn't have to worry that he would replenish supplies before the disaster. As soon as it was dawn, I got up and went out. I collected the rent for a while, and then continued to go shopping. Medicines including antidiarrheal drugs, antipyretics, cold medicines, painkillers, melatonin, various vitamins, alcohol, bandages, etc. Daily necessities. Toilet paper, sanitary napkins, shampoo, soap, laundry soap, facial cleanser, washing powder, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush. In the apocalypse, water resources will be scarce, so it's better to save things like hair conditioner and body wash. There were also several quilts, blankets, cotton pajamas, several thick military cotton coats, and snow boots. Without heating in winter, without these things, I'm afraid I'll freeze to death in winter. Electronic products. 2 laptops, 2 mobile phones, 2 tablets, 2 Kindles, 10 earphones, 5 over-ear headphones, 10 power banks, 50 super large capacity USB flash drives, which contain various movies, TV series, ebooks, and music. There were also a pile of sockets and data cables. My favorite snacks: chocolate French fries, potato chips, spicy strips, candies, dried fruits, and 10 boxes of sour milk. I also went to buy a particularly comfortable mattress and sofa. I'm going to be a happy idle person in the future. Even if I can only live 1 more year, I want to be happy. When I was halfway through shopping, Zhang Qi called me. I told him that I was traveling, and that I wouldn't answer if he called again. That scumbag, don't come and waste my shopping time. 5. On the last day, I bought fruits, vegetables, pork, fish, chicken, and some seafood to fill the refrigerator. And the solar panels were also installed. I locked all the doors, and while planting vegetables in the planting boxes, I waited for the night to come. After thinking about it again and again, I still anonymously posted a message. Everyone, stock up more on food and water today, and don't go out tomorrow. Remember, don't go out. This was all I could do. In my previous life, I invited Cui Ran to my home as a guest, and then the zombie outbreak occurred, and she was also stranded here. This time, Cui Ran had been in my home all the time, with a serious expression, discussing with Zhang Qi what was wrong with me. I was eating seafood spicy hot pot, and watching the big screen. The two of them were sitting on the sofa in the living room. Could she have found out? Zhang Qi snorted coldly. She's so stupid. We've been so discreet. How could she possibly find out? Then what's wrong with her? It's not the first day or two that she's been crazy. Ran, stop talking about her. It's better that she's traveling. The two of us can stay together for several days. Zhang Qi's voice became thicker and heavier, and the two of them rolled together. Last time, there was only the sound, but this time, it was both the sound and the picture. It was definitely exciting. Cui Ran really lived up to her reputation as the campus beauty. There wasn't a single part of her body that wasn't beautiful. She had a big bust, a slender waist, long legs, white and smooth skin, and a soft and sweet voice. However, it was obvious that Cui Ran's pleasure was faked. I snorted coldly. Zhang Qi was not only a man who lived off a woman, a coward, but also a man with no sexual ability. Now that I think about it, apart from his good looks, he was good for nothing. It was just that in my previous life, I was a shallow person who only cared about appearance. I really deserved to die a miserable death. The two people on the screen were lingering, and the doorbell rang. The third protagonist finally made his grand entrance. Ha ha ha, my dear mother-in-law. Do you think your dear son will still be as filial and obedient as ever in the apocalypse? 6. A domineering mother-in-law and a mama's boy. This combination is simply a devastating existence. Even though Zhang Qi was inferior to me in every way, and even though I paid for all the food, clothing, and daily expenses of their family, my mother-in-law Li Hongmei still thought that I was climbing up the social ladder by marrying her son. In Li Hongmei's opinion, only the daughter of the provincial governor was barely worthy of her son. It was bad enough that she looked down on me, but she also insulted me, calling me a jinx who brought bad luck to my parents. In my previous life, after the food ran out, she stared at me menacingly and said, "Aren't there still a lot of flesh to eat?" Then she made Zhangqi and Cui Ran hold me down and cut a piece of meat from my calf. I am a human being. I was born after my mother carried me in her womb for 10 months and was nurtured by my parents' painstaking efforts for more than 20 years. They hoped that I would stand on their shoulders and live a happy life, not be treated as a pile of edible flesh, and definitely not be a human pig. I was so angry that my whole body was shaking. After calming down, I continued to eat my seafood. Suddenly, my phone rang, and someone sent me a file and several videos. After taking a look, I understood everything. Li Hongmei over there wasn't surprised to see Cui Ran either. She had long known about her son's plan. Instead of stopping it, she had even contributed a great deal. She asked Zhangqi, "Is that bitch not at home?" "No, she isn't." Li Hongmei gave orders haughtily. How dare she not be at home to welcome her mother-in-law? She's really someone who was born but not properly raised. Call her right away and tell her to come back and serve me. Zhangqi tried to persuade Li Hongmei. "Mom, she's traveling. How can she come back? Moreover, Ran is here." Traveling? When Li Hongmei heard this, she became even angrier. She used our money to go traveling? She's really shameless. She'd better die in a car accident on the way. I came here to a cold stove and cold pot, but she's having a great time traveling. Son, could she have someone else outside? Zhangqi laughed when he heard this, and Cui Ran also covered her mouth and giggled. Mom, with the way she is, who would take a fancy to her outside? Come on, Mom. I'm hungry. Cook me something to eat. Gritting my teeth as I listened up to this point, I frowned and quickly called Zhangqi. Hello. Zhangqi said irritably. Our mom is here. Ah well, I'm out of town right now and can't come back immediately. I'll order some seafood takeout and have it delivered to the house right away. I'll go home tomorrow and take our mom to have a big meal and buy her new clothes and new bags. Only then was Li Hongmei a bit satisfied. Raising her eyebrows, she said, "Tell her to hurry up." I ordered some high-quality seafood. When Li Hongmei saw that there was so little of it, she slapped the table and was about to call and scold me. But when she looked at the price on the receipt, she was satisfied and divided the seafood into 3 portions. I had to pretend not to know about Cui Ran's existence, so naturally, I ordered enough for 2 people. Cui Ran only got a very small portion, but since she had been on a diet, she didn't say anything. The seafood was expensive but in small quantity, so they could only barely eat until they were half full. But it wasn't so little that they would have to go out and buy food late at night. I didn't want my plan to be ruined by them. Having heard that I would be going back tomorrow, after the meal, Li Hongmei urged Cui Ran to leave, saying that after all, Zhangqi and I hadn't divorced yet, and it would be bad for her reputation if she spent the night there. That old woman, she put it so righteously. Wasn't she just afraid that if I suddenly came back and caught Zhangqi cheating, she wouldn't be able to get the money in the divorce? 7. I was awakened by a huge explosion outside the window. I knelt on the bay window and looked outside. Several cars had collided in a chain reaction. People were screaming and dodging the attacks of the zombies, but they were knocked down and their stomachs were emptied by the zombies. There was blood everywhere on the ground, and I couldn't bear to look any further. The end of the world had arrived as expected, but I didn't feel any sense of relief despite being surrounded by a house full of supplies. If possible, I hoped that everything I had done was in vain, that the sun would rise as usual and people would live their lives as usual. I took out my computer, watched the news for a while, and then found the post I had made yesterday. Someone commented below. Fortunately, I saw this post. I bought a lot of noodles and water, and it can last me for a while. Me too. I had planned to go shopping today, but after thinking about it, I decided not to go. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to come back. Helping some people was the only thing that made me feel relieved in these few days. It was just a pity that Cui Ran didn't get trapped in my house when the apocalypse came, as she did in my previous life. I threw myself onto the sofa, held a cake in my arms, and turned on the TV. Just then, I heard a knock on the door. I instinctively got up. No, the knock on the door was coming from the screen. Zhangqi peeked through the peephole before opening the door. It was Cui Ran, looking all ungbai. She said that there were zombies everywhere near her home, and that she was scared being alone. The 3 of them were so frightened by the chaos outside, that they were as dumb as wooden chickens. After a while Cui Ran asked Zhangqi, "Brother, is there a lot of food at home?" Zhangqi rushed into the kitchen, and found that the rice and noodles were all gone. When he looked in the refrigerator, he was even more desperate. He cursed Su Xiaoxiao, this useless thing. She didn't even know to replenish the rice and noodles at home. She wants to kill us. Damn it, you idiot. Zhangqi hugged Cui Ran. She's been like a pig on a normal day, and she eats more than 3 times as much as you. Why didn't she buy anything this time? I was really puzzled. I'm 1.7 meters tall, and weigh 55 kilograms. I can eat a lot without getting fat, and I even work out for an hour every day. What's wrong with eating a bit more? When people are alive, they shouldn't let good food go to waste. As soon as Li Hongmei heard Zhangqi's words, she quickly added, "Well, Ran is still better." She eats less, haha. I laughed so hard at this sentence that I almost fell over. Was my evil mother-in-law starting to show her true colors? In the blink of an eye, it was noon. Li Hongmei picked up those 2 bags of rice noodles, gave Zhang Qi a meaningful look, and said, "Anyway, Ran eats less. Eating a bit of bread is enough for her." With that, Li Hongmei went into the kitchen to cook the rice noodles. Zhang Qi looked at his mother, and then at Cui Ran, not saying a word. 8. This time, Cui Ran was the one who was abandoned. She thought that after escaping here, everything would be fine. But in the face of a disaster, love is worthless. My wontons were already cooked. I poured them into the seaweed and dried shrimp soup that I had already made and finished half a bowl in one go. I was sweating all over from eating so heartily. It was so satisfying. Zhang Qi and Li Hongmei also enjoyed the rice noodles very much. Only Cui Ran sat alone in the bedroom, gnawing on a dry piece of bread. After the meal, Zhang Qi hesitated for a long time at the door before he dared to come in. He even pretended to ask, Ran, are you hungry?" Unexpectedly, Cui Ran neither made a fuss nor caused trouble. She hugged Zhang Qi and shed tears silently. "Brother, of course I'm hungry, but there isn't much food. I'd rather starve myself than let you and Auntie suffer. However, brother, there isn't much food at home. We have to go out and find some." I couldn't help but give her a thumbs up and praise her. Was this what a top-level green tea girl was like? She really knew how to manipulate people's hearts. Regarding the matter of finding supplies, Zhang Qi had neither a clue nor the courage. But where can we find it? You've seen it too. There are monsters outside. If we get bitten, they'll eat out our internal organs. And then we'll become walking corpses too. Cui Ran fell silent. At dinner, Cui Ran couldn't even have any bread anymore. Just because Zhang Qi said seemingly casually, Ran rarely eats dinner at night. Li Hongmei immediately put away all the egg cakes, afraid that Cui Ran would eat one more bite. 3 days passed, and Cui Ran had only eaten a small egg cake. She was so hungry that stars were swimming before her eyes, and she could hardly walk steadily. Cui Ran wasn't someone who would passively accept everything. I had been waiting for her to fight back, and sure enough, she called Zhang Qi into the room, and the two of them whispered to each other, and I didn't know what they were plotting. Suddenly, Zhang Qi stood up with a swish. "No way. This is murder. The zombies outside are also killing people. Does anyone care about that? If the crisis ends, the police won't let us go. The crisis won't end. At least it won't end soon. If we can't find new food, we won't be able to last a week." Zhang Qi was persuaded. Cui Ran changed into a sexy low-cut dress, and then handed a fruit knife to Zhang Qi. The two of them peeked through the peephole to make sure it was safe outside, opened the door, and went out. 9. What were they going to do? Risk going downstairs to look for food? Impossible. In my previous life, at this time, there were zombies everywhere in the community, and the nearest convenience store was also 200 meters away. But what if they didn't go to the convenience store? Were they going to rob someone? I remembered that the neighbor downstairs was a single Dranan, who always carried boxes of instant noodles, potato chips, and cola into his house. But in the apocalypse, everyone would be extremely wary of strangers. The Dainan might be a Jai person, but he wasn't stupid. How could he open the door voluntarily? Seduction. I looked at the screen with a serious expression, and silently prayed for the safety of the neighbor downstairs. My prayer was in vain. In less than 20 minutes, the two of them came back covered in blood, carrying 2 large boxes of things. Cui Ran was careful, and carried the boxes into the bedroom. Li Hongmei heard the commotion, and came over. When she saw that the boxes were filled with all kinds of instant noodles, self-heating hot pots, self-heating rice, potato chips, shrimp strips, as well as cola and beer, she was stunned for a few seconds at first. And then she was even more excited than when she saw gold. "Where did you get these?" Ran helped me get them." Zhang Qi was also very happy. He hugged Cui Ran and kissed her several times. Li Hongmei immediately praised Cui Ran for being both intelligent and brave. She took Cui Ran's hand affectionately, as if Cui Ran were her own daughter, completely forgetting how she had treated Cui Ran these past few days. Cui Ran still maintained her low-key demeanor and said, "Auntie, I want to eat some egg cakes. Can you get me some?" Li Hongmei was more than willing. With an okay, she went back to the room to get them. Cui Ran followed Li Hongmei. After she went in, she sneered, closed the door, and locked Li Hongmei inside. Li Hongmei panicked and slapped the door hard. Ran, what are you doing? Open the door quickly. Zhang Qi, come and save me." Zhang Qi ran over and asked Cui Ran, Ran, what are you going to do? "Brother, in the apocalypse, I can trick men into opening the door, and you can subdue them. But what can Auntie do? If she were a reasonable and selfless old person, she wouldn't hold us young people back. Instead, she would sacrifice herself voluntarily to give us more hope of survival. Auntie doesn't understand this, so we have to teach her to be sensible." Cui Ran, don't go crazy. Open the door quickly. There's so much food that it's enough for the 3 of us to eat. There is a lot of food, but how long will it last us? A week, 10 days? Brother, we have to strive to live. When the zombie crisis is over, we still have to settle the score with that bitch Su Xiao Xiao. We still want to get married and get the marriage certificate. Zhang Qi's hand that was reaching for the key stopped. Marrying Cui Ran was his dream that had remained unchanged for 10 years. Cui Ran hugged Zhang Qi, and her voice was gentle, like that of a siren who could bewitch people. Brother, we're the ones who are going to be together for a lifetime. 10. The development of the matter completely exceeded my expectations. In just half an hour, Li Hongmei had changed from the one in control of the food to a prisoner, and Cui Ran, who had been ostracized, had become the absolute leader. Her relationship with Zhang Qi heated up rapidly. After they were well fed and satisfied, they started having sex. Cui Ran moaned loudly without any scruples, drowning out Li Hongmei's curses, and completely dragging Zhang Qi into the land of pleasure. I was so angry that I couldn't even eat my meal. I opened my phone, and was about to send a file to Zhang Qi suddenly, the power went out. That's not right. Last time, the power didn't go out until a week after the crisis broke out. I turned on my phone, and accessed the surveillance of Zhang Qi's side. It was brightly lit and full of chaos over there. Was it just that the power went out on my side? Or was it a circuit breaker? After thinking for a long time, I planned to go out and check the electrical box. My hand had already grasped the doorknob when a chill crept up my spine. Could it be that someone deliberately cut off my power? 11. I opened the peephole, and the corridor outside was empty. I had read the news before. A single woman's home suddenly lost power. She opened the door to check the electrical box, and was then dragged into the room by a man lurking at the door and raped and killed. Is this the situation I'm facing now? Fortunately, the camera at the door has its own battery. I called up the video and indeed saw a person hiding in the corner. He was wearing ordinary clothes and holding a blood-stained axe in his hand, waiting for me to open the door and come out so that he could chop off my head. At this time, it's impossible for him to be after sex. His goal must be the food in my house. Who could this person be? A neighbor? Impossible. The elevator requires a card for each floor, and I had locked the fire escape. The neighbor couldn't come up at all. Then it's the security guard. The only one who knows I've stocked up a lot of food and has a way to get the elevator card is the security guard. I can't go out. I still have solar panels. I turned on the switch, but there was no response. Did he cut my wires too? I was so scared that my legs went weak. I leaned on the table to barely stand upright. No, I don't need to panic. There are gas cylinders at home, and I have no problem eating. He can't hold out for long outside. At worst, I'll outlast him. Thinking of this, I finally relaxed. I washed an apple and walked leisurely to the door while munching on it. I don't need electricity. You're really smart, aren't you? Didn't you see that I bought a lot of gas cylinders at that time? Guess who will starve to death first, you or me who's trapped here? Seeing that I didn't fall for it, the security guard flew into a rage and started smashing my door with the axe. The sound was loud, but only left a shallow mark on the door. Goodness, what great strength. I spent over 100,000 yuan on this bulletproof and fireproof door. If you can chop it open, I'll cook myself and serve it to you. The security guard started cursing me with extremely dirty words. I reminded you a long time ago to stock up on some food. You didn't listen. Now you come to rob me, and even want to harm my life. You're really a beast. I even became a cheerleader. Come on, work hard. Put some effort into chopping the door. It doesn't matter if you can't chop it open. At least leave a mark. In less than an hour, the security guard was too tired to chop or curse. After a while, he took the elevator down. I still didn't move. In less than 2 minutes, he really came out of the elevator again. He hadn't actually taken the elevator down at all. Instead, he had found a blind spot of the surveillance and hidden there. Seeing that I still didn't fall for it, he cursed and swiped the elevator card, preparing to go down. When the elevator door opened, there was actually a zombie hidden inside. It dragged the security guard into the elevator and started feasting. The man's screams echoed through the corridor. The elevator door closed, and the outside returned to silence. 12. In the middle of the night, I secretly went out, turned on the power switch, and connected the wires of the solar panels. I was extremely nervous all the way, fearing that the elevator door behind me would suddenly open, and a zombie would rush out of the darkness and bite me to death. Fortunately, the night was calm. The zombie in the elevator ensured that no one else could come up through this elevator. This was also a safety barrier for me. Over there, Zhang Qi and Cui Ran had already fallen asleep. I sent the file to Zhang Qi. Zhang Qi was awakened by the message notification sound. He picked up his phone and saw the file I sent. His face immediately turned ashen. He finished reading it with a trembling hand, gritted his teeth, and looked at Cui Ran, who was still asleep. Then he slapped Cui Ran hard. Bitch. Whore. You said you had been working hard to improve your academic qualifications these past few years, didn't you? You said you were keeping yourself pure, and were still a virgin, didn't you? Cui Ran was awakened by the slap. She was about to get angry, but when she saw what was on Zhang Qi's phone, she immediately calmed down. Zhang Qi had looked up to Cui Ran as a goddess. He didn't even dare to masturbate while fantasizing about her. But she had already sold her virginity at a high price, and then shuttled between various rich first-generation and second-generation men. From the age of 20 to 30, her price had been getting lower and lower. In the end, she could only receive some perverted customers, and her hope of getting out of that life became slimmer and slimmer. Then she got syphilis and met Zhang Qi, who still loved her. Although Zhang Qi had no money, Zhang Qi's wife, that is me, had plenty of money, and Zhang Qi was a fool and easy to control. After careful consideration, Cui Ran thought this was a great opportunity, so she started to interfere in the marriage between me and Zhang Qi. Bitch. Liar. Liar. Zhang Qi, who had discovered that he had been deceived, was shaking all over. He grabbed Cui Ran's neck with his eyes red. Why did you lie to me? Why did you lie to me? You destroyed my family, got a sexually transmitted disease, and still seduced me. You made me betray my mother. You're a beast. A beast. I ate ice cream, and enjoyed the scene of the two turning against each other on the screen, feeling very pleased. Suddenly, Cui Ran took out a sharp knife from the drawer, and stabbed it hard into Zhang Qi's abdomen. Zhang Qi covered his stomach, stared at Cui Ran in disbelief, and fell to the side. Cui Ran simply went all out. She held the knife handle with both hands and stabbed several more times. I don't even know how you could be so delusional as to think that I would fall in love with you. You were a poor guy in high school, and after 10 years, you're still penniless. Do you know how much I charge for one night? 50,000 yuan. How many nights of mine can you afford with the money in your pocket? And how many nights did I accompany you for free? I'm telling you, you got a great deal. Do you know that your sexual ability can't even compare to that of a 50-year-old man? Su Xiaoxiao is really blind. What on earth did she see in you? I sneered. 50,000 yuan. Did Cui Ran not blush when she said that? She couldn't even reach that price when she was 20. If it weren't for you having a rich wife, I wouldn't even give you a second look. And don't pretend to be so affectionate. I haven't been able to eat a single grain of rice these past few days. Isn't that all because you indulged your old hag mother? You don't love anyone. You only love yourself and money. You coveted your wife's money, and had the heart to harm her. Do you think you're some innocent little white rabbit? You're just as trashy as I am. No, I'm much better than you. At least I would never harm my family. And you actually let me imprison your own mother, and were determined to starve her to death. Zhang Qi's stomach was a bloody mess. He opened his mouth and gasped in pain. Tears kept rolling down. He looked at the crazy woman in front of him with fear in his eyes. What was he thinking? Did he regret it? I had no sympathy for Zhang Qi at all. I just thought he deserved it. Suddenly Cui Ran stopped. She went to get the first aid kit and treated Zhang Qi's wound. You can't die yet. I have to keep you alive. I still want to be able to eat fresh meat during the days when I live on instant noodles. But you're really seriously injured. If you can't make it through, I'll cut all the meat off your body and put it in the refrigerator. It's a pity that your mother is too old. Her meat must be as disgusting as withered branches and rotten leaves. Otherwise, I would have kept her alive. I calmly watched everything on the screen. This time, it was actually Zhang Qi who became the human pig. As she tidied her hair, she scanned the room. Her pale face had spots of blood on it. Her gaze happened to fall on the location of the camera. Her eyes were vicious, like a venomous snake that could spit out a terrifying forked tongue. Su Xiaoxiao, I know you're watching. This show is wonderful enough, isn't it? Then the next one might be you. 13. Cui Ran's madness and cruelty completely exceeded my imagination. I witnessed the whole process of Cui Ran killing someone. If she didn't survive until the end of the crisis, that would be fine. But once she survived, she would definitely do everything in her power to silence me. Even if the law considered her actions reasonable during the crisis, she wouldn't let me go. Being hated by such a cruel and crazy woman was a very terrifying thing. Cui Ran took a few clothes from my wardrobe and was about to go take a shower. Li Hongmei heard the commotion here and started pounding on the door again. Cui Ran, you little slut, what did you do to my son? Cui Ran laughed heartily, her voice relaxed and cheerful. Nothing. I just stabbed him 5 or 6 times in the stomach. When Li Hongmei heard this, she completely broke down and started screaming. Her shrill voice penetrated the wall and spread far away. The door was suddenly banged loudly. Cui Ran was stunned for a few seconds. She mustered up the courage to look through the peephole, and was so frightened by the zombies outside that she took several steps back. No matter how ruthless she was in killing people, in front of the zombies, she was like a lamb without the ability to protect or fight back. Shut up, Li Hongmei. You've attracted the zombies. When Li Hongmei heard this, she screamed even louder. Her vocal cords seemed to be on the verge of tearing the next second. I guessed that Li Hongmei was thinking that anyway, Cui Ran wouldn't give her food. It would be better to attract the zombies, so that the two of them could die together and avenge her son. There were more and more zombies outside the door. They hit the door with their heads and shoulders. The door at home was just an ordinary anti-theft door. After being hit hard a few times, the door frame started to loosen. Cui Ran tried to deceive her. Li Hongmei, your son isn't dead. He isn't dead. I was just joking with you. As long as you shut up, I'll open the door and let you see your son. Stop screaming. I'll give you half of the food. After going through all this, Li Hongmei wouldn't believe Cui Ran's words. She was determined to die with her. Cui Ran turned around and ran into the room. Amid the woman's screams and the roars of the zombies, she heard the ringtone of a mobile phone coming from a corner of the living room. It was the piano piece a step away. It wasn't Zhang Qi's or hers. Was it Li Hongmei's? Cui Ran walked over as if possessed. She found an old mobile phone in the crack of the sofa and answered the call. I smiled slightly and tapped the screen of my phone. The electronic lock of the door opened with a click. Dozens of zombies with gaping mouths rushed towards Cui Ran. Cui Ran, happy apocalypse.